Most people live their entire lives waiting for someone else to change their circumstances. They sit in jobs they hate, complaining about their boss. They stay in relationships that drain their energy, blaming their partner. They look at their bank account and curse the economy. What they never realize is that they handed over the keys to their life the moment they decided someone else was responsible for their results. Right now, as you sit here, you have more power than you've ever acknowledged. You have the power to choose your response to every single situation that comes your way. You have the power to decide what you'll focus on, what you'll learn, and what you'll do next. But here's what happens to most people. They give that power away without even knowing it. Your life today is the sum total of all the choices you've made up to this point. Every choice. The choice to wake up early or hit the snooze button. The choice to read something valuable or waste time on meaningless entertainment. The choice to associate with people who challenge you to grow or people who drag you down to their level. The choice to take responsibility or make excuses. I know what some of you are thinking, but you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know the obstacles I face. And you're absolutely right. I don't know your specific circumstances. But I know this minder successful people face obstacles too. They face setbacks, disappointments, and challenges that would crush the average person. The difference isn't in what happens to them. The difference is in how they respond to what happens to them. There's a story about a man who lost his job at 45 years old. He had a wife, 2 children, and a mortgage. Most people would see this as a disaster. Most people would spend their time complaining about how unfair life is, how hard it is to find work at their age, how the company treated them wrong. But this man made a different choice. He saw it as an opportunity to start the business he'd been thinking about for years, but never had the courage to pursue. Within 3 years, he had built a company that employed 12 people and generated more income than his old job ever could have provided. What made the difference? One choice. The choice to see opportunity instead of obstacle. The choice to take action instead of making excuses. The choice to focus on what he could control instead of what he couldn't control. Right now, raise your hand if you've ever blamed your circumstances for where you are in life. Keep it up. Don't be embarrassed. We've all done it. Now here's my question for you. How's that working out? Has blaming your circumstances changed your circumstances? Has complaining about your situation improved your situation? Has making excuses moved you closer to your goals? The brutal truth is this. But know you accept complete responsibility for your life, you'll remain powerless to change it. You cannot change what you don't own. You cannot improve what you won't acknowledge. You cannot grow beyond what you refuse to take responsibility for. Most people live in what I call the blame zone. Everything wrong in their life is someone else's fault. Their parents didn't raise them right. Their spouse doesn't support them. Their boss doesn't appreciate them. Their friends don't understand them. The government is holding them back. The economy is too tough. The competition is too strong. Let me tell you what successful people understand that unsuccessful people don't. Successful people know that blame is just another word for powerlessness. When you blame external circumstances for your results, you're essentially saying you have no control over your outcomes. You're saying you're a victim of forces beyond your influence. You're saying your success depends on other people changing their behavior. But when you take complete responsibility for your results, something magical happens. You suddenly realize you have tremendous power. You realize that your success doesn't depend on your boss giving you a raise. It depends on you becoming more valuable. Your success doesn't depend on the economy improving. It depends on you improving your skills and finding ways to serve others better. Your success doesn't depend on other people believing in you. It depends on you believing in yourself enough to do what needs to be done. I've watched thousands of people transform their lives, and they all had one thing in common. They reached a point where they stopped making excuses and started taking action. They stopped blaming their circumstances and started changing their choices. They stopped being victims and started being victors. The moment you decide to take complete ownership of your life is the moment everything begins to change. Not next week, not next month, right now. Because ownership is a decision, not a gradual process. Either you're responsible for your results, or you're not. Either you have the power to change your situation or you don't. Either you're in control of your destiny, or you're at the mercy of circumstances. Which brings me to the most important question you'll ever answer. Are you ready to take complete responsibility for where you are and where you're going? Are you ready to stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the architect of your future? Are you ready to admit that your current results are a direct reflection of your past choices and that better choices will create better results? This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about never making mistakes. This is about owning your mistakes instead of making excuses for them. This is about learning from your failures instead of blaming them on external factors. This is about taking action to improve your situation instead of waiting for your situation to improve on its own. The universe has a funny way of responding to people who take responsibility. When you stop making excuses, opportunities start appearing. When you stop blaming others, you start attracting people who want to help you succeed. When you stop being a victim, you start becoming a victor. But here's what most people don't understand about taking responsibility. It's not a one-time decision. It's a daily choice. Every morning you wake up, you get to choose whether you'll take ownership of your day or surrender your power to circumstances. Every time something goes wrong, you get to choose whether you'll look for someone to blame or look for a way to respond constructively. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the choices you make on a daily basis, not the big dramatic choices that happen once in a while. The small, seemingly insignificant choices that happen hundreds of times every day. The choice to be punctual or habitually late. The choice to keep your word or make excuses. The choice to focus on solutions or dwell on problems. Most people underestimate the power of these small choices. They think success comes from some grand gesture, some dramatic moment of inspiration, some lucky break that changes everything overnight. But that's not how success works. Success is the result of small, smart choices repeated consistently over time. Every choice you make is either moving you toward your goals or away from them. Every choice is either building the life you want or reinforcing the life you're trying to escape. Every choice is either making you stronger or making you weaker. There are no neutral choices. There are no insignificant choices. There are only choices that serve your future or choices that sabotage it. The beautiful thing about choice is that your past doesn't determine your future. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what mistakes you've made. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. What matters is what you choose to do next. What matters is whether you'll learn from your experiences or repeat them. What matters is whether you'll take responsibility for creating the life you want or continue waiting for someone else to create it for you. Your current circumstances are temporary. Your current results are changeable. Your current situation is not your final destination, but change requires choice. Growth requires ownership. Success requires responsibility. And that responsibility begins with you acknowledging that you have the power to choose your response to every situation, every setback, every opportunity, and every challenge that comes your way. The universe is constantly presenting you with choices. Some are obvious. Some are subtle. Some seem important. Some seem trivial. But every choice matters, because every choice shapes your character, and your character determines your destiny. The question isn't whether you'll make choices. You'll make thousands of them every day. The question is whether you'll make them consciously or unconsciously, whether you'll make them based on your goals or your fears, whether you'll make them from a position of responsibility or a position of blame. Success isn't complicated, but it is challenging. It requires you to do things that unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. It requires you to take responsibility when it's easier to make excuses. It requires you to take action when it's more comfortable to wait. It requires you to own your results when it's more tempting to blame your circumstances. But here's what I promise you. The moment you truly accept complete responsibility for your life, you'll feel a power you've never felt before. You'll realize that you don't need anyone's permission to succeed. You don't need anyone's approval to pursue your dreams. You don't need perfect conditions to take action. You just need the courage to own your choices and the commitment to make better ones. The foundation of greatness isn't talent, luck, or connections. The foundation of greatness is the unwavering commitment to take complete responsibility for your results and the daily discipline to make choices that align with your highest aspirations. Everything else we'll talk about builds on this foundation. But without this foundation, nothing else matters. Once you truly grasp the power of personal responsibility, you start noticing something fascinating about how life actually works. The universe doesn't operate randomly. It follows patterns. It obeys laws. It responds to specific principles that have been consistent throughout human history. And when you understand these patterns, when you align yourself with these natural laws, success becomes predictable rather than accidental. Think about a farmer for a moment. Does a farmer plant corn in December and expect to harvest it in January. Of course not. The farmer understands that nature operates according to seasons. There's a time to plant, a time to cultivate, a time to harvest, and a time to rest. The farmer who works with these natural cycles prospers. The farmer who fights against them fails. Your life operates according to the same natural laws. There are seasons in your career, seasons in your relationships, seasons in your personal growth. Most people fail because they're trying to harvest when they should be planting. They want immediate results from long-term processes. They expect to reap rewards they haven't earned through the hard work of sowing and cultivating. How many of you have ever planted a garden? Raise your hands. Now, when you planted those seeds, did you go out the next morning expecting to see full-grown plants? Did you get frustrated when nothing appeared after a week? Of course not. You understood that growth takes time. You understood that what happens underground is just as important as what happens above ground. You understood that consistent care and patience were required for the harvest to come. But somehow, when it comes to building wealth, developing skills, or creating success, people forget these basic laws of growth. They want everything immediately. They plant one seed of effort and expect an immediate forest of results. They take one class and expect to be an expert. They make one good choice and expect their entire life to change overnight. The universe has a different timeline. The universe operates on what I call compound time. Small actions, repeated consistently over extended periods, create massive results. This isn't theory mess. This is mathematical fact. A penny doubled every day for 31 days becomes over $10 million. 1% improvement every day for a year makes you 37 times better. These aren't motivational slogans. These are mathematical realities. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because they overestimate the power of dramatic action. They think success comes from grand gestures, heroic efforts, and life-changing moments. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Success comes from ordinary activities performed consistently over extraordinary periods of time. Reading 15 minutes a day doesn't seem like much, but 15 minutes a day for a year is over 90 hours of reading. That's equivalent to 2 full-time work weeks spent learning. Most people won't invest 2 weeks a year in their own education. Then they wonder why their knowledge and skills don't grow. Walking 30 minutes a day doesn't seem significant, but 30 minutes a day for a year is over 180 hours of exercise. That's more than most people exercise in 5 years. Most people won't invest 30 minutes a day in their health. Then they wonder why their energy and vitality decline. Saving $50 a week doesn't feel like wealth building. But $50 a week for 20 years, invested at reasonable returns, becomes over $100,000. Most people won't save $50 a week. Then they wonder why they never build financial security. The universe rewards consistency, not intensity. The universe rewards persistence, not perfection. The universe rewards those who understand that small actions, compounded over time, create extraordinary outcomes. But here's where most people get tripped up. They understand the concept intellectually, but they quit before the compound effect kicks in. They exercise for 2 weeks and don't see dramatic changes, so they quit. They save money for 3 months and don't feel wealthy, so they quit. They read personal development books for 6 months and don't feel transformed, so they quit. They quit right before the breakthrough. They quit right before the compound effect starts producing visible results. They quit in the middle of winter and never see the spring harvest. Successful people understand something that unsuccessful people don't. They understand that there's always a lag time between cause and effect. They understand that you pay the price first and receive the reward later. They understand that the universe keeps perfect books. Every action is recorded. Every effort is noted. Every choice creates a consequence that may not show up immediately, but will definitely show up eventually. This is why successful people can persist when others quit. They know their efforts are being compounded, even when they can't see immediate results. They know they're building momentum, even when progress seems slow. They know they're creating their future even when their present circumstances haven't changed yet. The universe also operates according to what I call the law of attraction and preparation. Opportunities don't come to unprepared people. Success doesn't visit the uncommitted. The universe sends its best gifts to those who are ready to receive them, recognize them, and act on them. But most people have this backwards. They wait for the opportunity before they prepare. They wait for the promotion before they develop the skills. They wait for the business idea before they learn about business. They wait for the relationship before they become the kind of person who attracts healthy relationships. The universe works differently. The universe sends opportunities to people who are already prepared to handle them. The universe gives responsibilities to people who have proven they can handle smaller responsibilities. The universe rewards those who invest in themselves before they need the return on that investment. This is why success seems to come easily to some people and feels impossible to others. The people who make success look easy have been preparing in private for years before they succeed in public. They've been developing skills when no one was watching. They've been building character when no one was keeping score. They've been making sacrifices when no one was applauding. When their moment comes, when their opportunity arrives, they're ready. They don't need time to prepare. They don't need to figure out what to do. They don't need to develop the skills required. They've already done that work. The opportunity simply reveals the preparation that was already in place. There's another pattern the universe follows that most people miss completely. The universe tests your commitment before it rewards your efforts. Every worthy goal comes with obstacles designed to determine how badly you want what you say you want. Every dream comes with difficulties that separate the committed from the merely interested. Most people see obstacles as signs they should quit. Successful people see obstacles as signs they're on the right path. Most people see setbacks as evidence they're not meant to succeed. Successful people see setbacks as preparation for the success that's coming. The universe has a way of putting everything you need right in front of you, but it rarely looks like what you expected. The opportunity comes disguised as hard work. The breakthrough comes disguised as a breakdown. The solution comes disguised as a problem. The blessing comes disguised as a challenge. Your ability to recognize these disguised gifts determines how quickly you move toward your goals. Your ability to see opportunity in obstacles determines how far you go in life. Your ability to find the benefit in every difficulty determines how much you grow from every experience. The universe operates on perfect timing, but not your timing. What you want immediately may not be what you need immediately. What seems like a delay may actually be perfect preparation. What feels like rejection may actually be redirection towards something better. This is why patience is such a critical success skill. Not passive patience that waits for things to happen, but active patience that keeps working while waiting for results. Active patience that keeps planting while waiting for the harvest. Active patience that keeps building while waiting for the breakthrough. The universe also responds to clarity and commitment. Vague goals produce vague results. Unclear intentions produce uncertain outcomes. The universe rewards those who know exactly what they want and exactly what they're willing to do to get it. Most people have fuzzy goals and wonder why they get fuzzy results. They want to be successful without defining what success means to them. They want to be wealthy without specifying how much wealth they want to create. They want better relationships without clarifying what better looks like. The universe requires specificity. The clearer you are about what you want, the clearer the path becomes. The more specific your goals, the more specific your actions become. The more definite your commitment, the more definite your results become. But clarity without commitment is just wishful thinking. The universe doesn't respond to what you hope will happen. The universe responds to what you're committed to making happen. The universe doesn't reward good intentions. The universe rewards consistent actions. Commitment means you'll do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. Commitment means you'll persist when others quit. Commitment means you'll continue when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, and uncertain. Commitment means your desire to succeed is stronger than your fear of failure. The universe has infinite resources and unlimited solutions for every problem you'll ever face. But those resources and solutions only become available to people who prove they're serious about their goals through consistent, committed action over extended periods of time. When you align yourself with these natural laws, when you work with these universal patterns instead of against them, everything changes. Success stops being a mystery and becomes a methodology. Results stop being accidental and become predictable. Progress stops being sporadic and becomes systematic. The same laws that govern everything else in the universe govern your success. Understanding these laws gives you tremendous advantage over people who are trying to succeed through willpower, luck, or manipulation. These people exhaust themselves fighting against natural forces instead of harnessing those forces for their benefit. Now that you understand how the universe operates, the question becomes this: what are you going to do about it? Knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without action changes nothing. You can know every success principle ever written, but if you don't apply them consistently in your daily life, they're just interesting concepts that make you feel smart at parties. The bridge between knowing and having is doing. The bridge between understanding and achieving is daily discipline. The bridge between potential and performance is consistent action repeated over time until it becomes automatic. But here's where most people sabotage themselves before they even start. They try to change everything at once. They create elaborate plans that require them to become a completely different person overnight. They set goals that demand perfection from people who haven't even mastered the basics. This approach always fails. Always. Not because the goals aren't worthy, but because the approach fights against human nature. Your current habits and behaviors didn't develop overnight, and they won't disappear overnight either. Lasting change happens gradually, systematically, one small improvement at a time. The most successful people in the world didn't become successful by making dramatic changes. They became successful by making small changes consistently over long periods of time. They understood that success is not an event, it's a process. It's not a destination, it's a journey of continuous improvement and daily discipline. Most people fail because they focus on outcomes instead of systems. They focus on losing weight instead of building healthy eating habits. They focus on making money instead of developing valuable skills. They focus on finding love instead of becoming the kind of person who attracts healthy relationships. Outcomes are important, but systems are what create outcomes. Daily disciplines are what create extraordinary results. Consistent small actions are what compound into massive achievements. Focus on your systems, and the outcomes will take care of themselves. How many of you have ever started a diet on Monday morning? Raise your hands. Now, how many of you were still following that diet on Friday afternoon? Keep your hands up if you lasted the full week. See how many hands went down. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Most people try to change too much too fast and end up changing nothing at all. Instead of trying to revolutionize your entire life in one day, choose one small habit that would improve your life if you did it consistently for a year. Just one, not 10, not 5, one. Master that one habit before you add another one. Build your discipline muscle gradually instead of trying to lift weights that are too heavy for your current strength. This might seem too simple, too slow, too insignificant. But remember what we learned about compound effects. Small improvements, sustained over time, create remarkable results. The person who improves one small thing every month will be completely transformed within a year. The person who tries to improve everything immediately will be exactly the same a year from now. Let's talk about the most powerful daily disciplines that create extraordinary results. The first discipline is how you start your day. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone, filling their mind with other people's problems, other people's opinions, and other people's agendas before they've even decided what their own priorities are for the day. Successful people protect their first hour like it's the most valuable hour of their day, because it is. They use this time to prepare their mind, strengthen their body, and clarify their priorities. They invest in themselves before they invest in anyone else's agenda. Here's what a powerful morning routine looks like. You wake up at the same time every day, including weekends. Your body craves consistency, and irregular sleep patterns drain your energy and weaken your willpower. You spend the first few minutes in gratitude, acknowledging what's already good in your life before you focus on what needs to be improved. You move your body. Not for hours, not in complicated ways, just enough to get your blood flowing and your energy up. This could be stretching, walking, doing jumping jacks, or any physical activity that awakens your body and prepares it for an active day. You feed your mind with something positive and educational. This could be reading a few pages from a book that challenges you to grow, listening to something that expands your knowledge, or reviewing your goals and plans for achieving them. You're programming your mind for success instead of letting random information program it for mediocrity. You plan your day with intention. You decide what your 3 most important tasks are and commit to completing them before you do anything else. Most people spend their day reacting to whatever seems urgent instead of focusing on what's actually important. They're busy but not productive. They're active but not effective. The second crucial discipline is how you handle your time throughout the day. Time is the only resource you can't create more of. Yet most people waste it like they have an unlimited supply. They spend hours on activities that don't move them toward their goals, then complain they don't have time for the things that matter. Successful people treat time like the precious resource it is. They protect it, invest it wisely, and measure their return on time invested just like they would measure their return on money invested. They ask themselves constantly, is what I'm doing right now the most valuable use of my time? They also understand the difference between being busy and being productive. Being busy means your time is filled with activity. Being productive means your time is filled with results-generating activity. You can be busy all day and accomplish nothing meaningful. You can be productive for 2 hours and accomplish more than most people accomplish in a week. The third discipline is continuous learning and skill development. The world is changing rapidly, and the skills that got you where you are won't necessarily take you where you want to go. The person who stops learning stops growing. The person who stops growing starts dying, at least professionally. Successful people commit to learning something new every day. They read books, take courses, attend seminars, find mentors, and constantly look for ways to increase their knowledge and improve their skills. They understand that their ability to serve others determines their income, and their ability to serve others depends on their knowledge and skills. But they don't just consume information, they apply it. They take what they learn and immediately look for ways to use it in their work and life. They understand that knowledge without application is just entertainment. Learning without implementation is just intellectual hoarding. The fourth discipline is building and maintaining relationships with people who challenge you to grow. The people you spend the most time with have tremendous influence over your thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. If you're spending time with people who complain constantly, you'll start complaining more. If you're spending time with people who make excuses, you'll start making more excuses. If you're spending time with people who have small dreams, your dreams will start shrinking too. But if you spend time with people who take responsibility for their results, you'll become more responsible. If you spend time with people who are constantly learning and growing, you'll start learning and growing more. If you spend time with people who have big dreams and take action to achieve them, your dreams will expand and your actions will increase. This doesn't mean you abandon old friends who aren't growing. It means you consciously choose to spend more time with people who inspire you to become better than you are today. You seek out mentors, join mastermind groups, attend conferences, and put yourself in environments where growth is expected and mediocrity is not tolerated. The fifth discipline is regular self-evaluation and course correction. Most people never take time to honestly assess their progress, evaluate their strategies, and adjust their approach based on their results. They keep doing the same things and expecting different outcomes. Successful people schedule regular review sessions with themselves. They look at what's working and do more of it. They look at what's not working and either improve it or eliminate it. They're brutally honest about their performance and constantly looking for ways to get better results with less effort. They ask themselves tough questions. Are my current activities moving me toward my goals or away from them? Are my habits serving my future or sabotaging it? Are my relationships lifting me up or dragging me down? Are my thoughts empowering me or limiting me? They also celebrate their progress, no matter how small. They understand that acknowledgement accelerates achievement. They recognize that what gets celebrated gets repeated. They don't wait until they reach their final destination to feel good about their journey. But celebration doesn't mean complacency. They celebrate their progress, then immediately refocus on their next level of growth. They use their victories as fuel for future achievements, rather than excuses to rest on their accomplishments. The sixth discipline is managing your internal dialogue. The conversation you have with yourself all day long determines your mood, your energy, your confidence, and your results. Most people let this conversation run automatically, without any conscious direction or quality control. Successful people monitor their self-talk like a quality control. Inspector monitors a production line. They catch negative, limiting, or destructive thoughts and replace them with positive, empowering, constructive thoughts. They speak to themselves like they would speak to their best friend rather than their worst enemy. They also use their internal dialogue to rehearse success rather than worry about failure. They mentally practice handling challenges before they face them. They visualize achieving their goals in vivid detail. They program their subconscious mind for success through repetitive, positive mental imagery. Now comes the most important part of everything we've discussed. You must start today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Today, right now. Before you leave this room, before you go to sleep tonight, before you start making excuses about why you need more time to prepare, choose one discipline from what we've discussed. Just one. Choose the one that resonates most strongly with you, the one you know would make the biggest difference in your life if you did it consistently for the next 30 days. Commit to that one discipline. Write it down. Tell someone about it. Create accountability for yourself. But they don't just consume information, they apply it. They take what they learn and immediately look for ways to use it in their work and life. They understand that knowledge without application is just entertainment. Learning without implementation is just intellectual hoarding. The fourth discipline is building and maintaining relationships with people who challenge you to grow. The people you spend the most time with have tremendous influence over your thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. If you're spending time with people who complain constantly, you'll start complaining more. If you're spending time with people who make excuses, you'll start making more excuses. If you're spending time with people who have small dreams, your dreams will start shrinking too. But if you spend time with people who take responsibility for their results, you'll become more responsible. If you spend time with people who are constantly learning and growing, you'll start learning and growing more. If you spend time with people who have big dreams and take action to achieve them, your dreams will expand and your actions will increase. This doesn't mean you abandon old friends who aren't growing. It means you consciously choose to spend more time with people who inspire you to become better than you are today. You seek out mentors, join mastermind groups, attend conferences, and put yourself in environments where growth is expected and mediocrity is not tolerated. The fifth discipline is regular self-evaluation and course correction. Most people never take time to honestly assess their progress, evaluate their strategies, and adjust their approach based on their results. They keep doing the same things and expecting different outcomes. Successful people schedule regular review sessions with themselves. They look at what's working and do more of it. They look at what's not working and either improve it or eliminate it. They're brutally honest about their performance and constantly looking for ways to get better results with less effort. They ask themselves tough questions. Are my current activities moving me toward my goals or away from them? Are my habits serving my future or sabotaging it? Are my relationships lifting me up or dragging me down? Are my thoughts empowering me or limiting me? They also celebrate their progress, no matter how small. They understand that acknowledgement accelerates achievement. They recognize that what gets celebrated gets repeated. They don't wait until they reach their final destination to feel good about their journey. But celebration doesn't mean complacency. They celebrate their progress, then immediately refocus on their next level of growth. They use their victories as fuel for future achievements, rather than excuses to rest on their accomplishments. The sixth discipline is managing your internal dialogue. The conversation you have with yourself all day long determines your mood, your energy, your confidence, and your results. Most people let this conversation run automatically, without any conscious direction or quality control. Successful people monitor their self-talk like a quality control inspector monitors a production line. They catch negative, limiting, or destructive thoughts and replace them with positive, empowering, constructive thoughts. They speak to themselves like they would speak to their best friend, rather than their worst enemy. They also use their internal dialogue to rehearse success rather than worry about failure. They mentally practice handling challenges before they face them. They visualize achieving their goals in vivid detail. They program their subconscious mind for success through repetitive, positive mental imagery. Now comes the most important part of everything we've discussed. You must start today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Today, right now. Before you leave this room, before you go to sleep tonight, before you start making excuses about why you need more time to prepare. Choose one discipline from what we've discussed. Just one. Choose the one that resonates most strongly with you. The one you know would make the biggest difference in your life if you did it consistently for the next 30 days. Commit to that one discipline. Write it down. Tell someone about it. Create accountability for yourself. For the next 30 days, focus all your energy on mastering that one discipline. Don't try to do everything at once. Don't dilute your focus by working on multiple habits simultaneously. Put all your effort into making one positive change, automatic and unconscious. After 30 days, add another discipline. After 60 days, add another one. Within 6 months, you'll have transformed 6 major areas of your life through the power of consistent daily discipline. Within a year, you'll be living at a completely different level than you are today.